Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. I should have started the video singing Mercato is crazy tonight, la 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 la. I didn't, but we will speak about Mercato and I'm sure you're as excited as a lot of Juventini. Speaking about Mercato, I know it. I'm doing the channel now for 3 years and when we are speaking about Mercato, we are dreaming. We want newness. We want new players. We are dreaming. This is the most beautiful part for the people that love the gossips. But they also want certainty. So it's really a mixed feeling. We want to dream, but we also don't want to dream too much because then we are scared to be disappointed. So that's why I'm doing the video, because in the last 48 hours, mamma mia, I counted, but seriously, more or less 15 players linked to Juventus. Will 15 players join Juventus in 23-24? No. I know we are rebuilding. I know we were revolution, but attenzione, tranquilli. Ragazzi, do me a favor, if you like the video, if you like the topic of Mercato, maximum of like, subscribe to the channel if you didn't yet, and especially, again, I repeat, like the channel, like the video. I need to understand how much you love Mercato video, if I need to continue, yes or no, because Mercato is something that is not really concrete. Andiamo ragazzi, the season is not over yet. Milan tomorrow. At the time that I will upload this video, probably already went live with the press conference of Max Allegri, Milan, and then Udinese. Udinese that we still don't know what day we will play, the 3rd or the 4th of June, what time, we don't know. Calcio is back. What a beautiful organization, but that's another story. Okay, before going crazy, you have to understand the 360 degree. Otherwise, you will go totally and you will be lost. 80 million euro. This is what Juventus will lose in revenue for not participating to the next Champions League. Is it because we did bad on the field? You can say yes, but is it because we did bad in the ranking of Serie A? Absolutely not, because as we speak, before the game of Milan, we are still 2nd. The virtual ranking is saying that's not true anymore. We are 7th. Disaster. Disaster. Anyway, 80 million lost. On top of that, because we are reading the papers, we are following the rumors, and luckily, Mohamed El Shahali, El Tactico, is keeping up all the news in our Telegram group. The link is into the description if you want to join. Fantastic work on that. But we are reading and we know that Max Allegri is at risk, and the percentage of Max Allegri remaining at Juve are much lower than they were a few weeks ago. They calculated for the 2 remaining years on contract of Max that he will cost gross more or less 40 million euro. Add them to the 80 million. It's not over, huh? You need to hire a new staff. If you're not thinking about Klopp, Pep, Conte, Zidane, that has incredible high wages and salary, well, you go to a normal coach, and we have a lot of names, huh? Tudor, Paladino, Thiago Motta, etc. In these kinds, well, you are there with 10 million gross that you will have to pay for 1 year for the coach, plus the entire staff that you have to change. It's a lot of money. We are at 130 million without even calculating the fact that Rabiot will leave for free, Di Maria, Paredes, Arthur that will come back, or last year on loan, or they will break the contract. But all these players that need to be replaced, they will bring you in the bank 0 euro. Disaster. Well, even if we know all these kind of things, and now we can speak about every single player that has been linked with Juve, well, in the last 48 hours, I read more or less 15 names. The serious journalist, Romeo Agresti, they don't speak about names of players. They are focusing on the sporting director Giuntoli, because at today we still don't know if yes or no he will join Juve. They are focusing on potential voices on a new coach, yes, but they don't speak about names, because you have to be logic. Before speaking about what is serious and what is not, you have to be logic, as I always told you on the channel, and I know it's not sexy, but that's the truth. First, you go with the sporting director, then you confirm or you change the coach, and then you think about players. Why in that order? Because the sporting director needs to plan a structure. We are already late, and that's why the names that you are reading, there is something true in it, because we are late. Normally you are planning the Mercato already in the month of January. Now we are at the end of May and we still didn't start. Why? Because the off the field topics, not on the field. But anyway, so there are something serious in all the stories that you are reading. From what player? Well, we start with the first names that I've read, because I read a lot, Asensio, Carlos Augusto, Milinkovic-Savic, and so on. First is the goalkeeper. Let's go roll by roll. Goalkeeper. Yesterday I read that Szczesny is at risk of staying Juve. Well, I will tell you honestly, I believe it's true. Why? because we know that Szczesny is a goalkeeper that is towards the end of his career. He still has like 3-4 years. We know that he has a dream that after his career, after his retirement, he wants to go to London. But more important, he has a really high salary with Juventus, about 6.57 million euro. So it makes totally sense that Juventus, in a year where you need to think about cost savings as well, you're thinking maybe that Szczesny, especially without European competition, is maybe a luxury that you can't afford anymore. So it makes sense. What are the names to replace him on the papers? Donnarumma. Yesterday I heard about Donnarumma because Juventus is thinking about a more Italian team. And they're thinking about two players from Paris Saint-Germain, Donnarumma and another Italian one. Easy to guess, Verratti. We will come back on Verratti. Guys, how much? Why not? Donnarumma, I was a big fan of Donnarumma. And I really wanted him 2 years ago, I believe. It would make totally no sense. The wages of Donnarumma are incredibly high, but in a way, it would replace the one of Szczesny. But the problem, it's not the wages only for Donnarumma that replace Szczesny. It's the value that you need to pay to Paris Saint-Germain. Otherwise, they will not free himself. So Donnarumma, credibility for me, not a lot. We have to continue because it's not only Donnarumma. There is another goalkeeper, Carnesecchi. Carnesecchi apparently is a Juventino. Apparently it's a player that would love to go for Juve. He said it himself. Of course, I dream of a club like Juve. Since you are a kid, you are dreaming about a club like Juve. Well, Carnesecchi would make sense. You need to buy him from Atalanta. You need to pay a fee that will not be astronomical, but the wages will be really low. Perin promoted to first goalkeeper, Carnesecchi second, fighting for a first spot, makes sense. Then we go to the defense. Who will join, who will leave, what are the names that I read? Carlos Augusto from Monza. And here I want to stop before speaking about the defense, because first you need to decide the coach. You don't know still, and today, which formation, what game you will play. Will you play with a 3-man defense? Will you play with a 4-man defense? Will it be a 3-5-2? Will it be a 3-4-3? Will it be a 4-2-2? 4-4-2. Will it be a 4, whatever you want, to 4-2-3-1? It's important to understand. Then, of course, you can always think about two roles. But at the day of today, if you want to go with a total renewal of your defense, going again with 4 men, you have a problem because we have at the moment 0 fullbacks. If I read the news and I see that the papers are telling me that Alexandro and probably also Quadrado will remain 1 more year, I'm thinking that you go for a coach with a 3-man defense. You can choose between Tudor, between Thiago Motta, Consensao, Palladino, Italiano, Dionisi, even remaining with Allegri. These are all the names that are there. Choose the one that are playing with 3, and that's what I believe we are going for. So Carlos Augusto is a left back, and he's linked to Juve with a possible swap with Pellegrini. Will not cost that much. Carlos Augusto is around 20-25 million euro investment. Well, Pellegrini, that probably will have difficulties to remain at Lazio. He didn't play well in that second season on loan. Could be a potentiality. Pellegrini there, Carlos Augusto. I would love it. Why? Because he could be potentially in a 4-man defense immediately a starter. Not a fenomeno immediately. We are not speaking about Marcelo or Dani Alves, but he could be a starter after his really impressive, beautiful season with Monza in that first year. Especially if Palladino will join. Then you have another name. Ragazzi, Barco, remember that name. I'm watching, I don't know why, I'm watching the games of Argentina under 20, not the Italy, maybe tonight I will watch, but I'm watching and I watched the 3 entire games of Argentina under 20. I didn't know that player before. 18 years old, left back, mamma mia, I was impressed. But I'm impressed of a lot of Argentina players from under 20, maybe I will do a dedicated video about that, but Barco is a top talent. Then, attenzione, yesterday against New Zealand, he didn't need to defend. And in the 2 other games, maybe he has a bit of problems defending. That's not his strongest points. He is a modern fullback on the left that is going really up. Technique, velocity, really smart, pass accuracy. Fantastic player, 18 years old. He will become 19 in the month of July. It's a player, I tell you, before the news, I watched him. Also because he stand out with that red hair. Different than all the other Argentina that were on the field. I was watching him with his number 3. I said, good player. 10 million euro close. A contract with 1 more year. Attenzione, Juventus could potentially go for him and I would love it. What is the problem from Barco? That he can't be immediately a starter at Juventus. Needs to grow up physically. but he has a lot of grinta that will help him. But I'm not sure if he would be the starter. Then, if you go with a 3-man defense and you have a player like him that can potentially replace when you are playing with 4, Barco is a good player that I like. Midfielders, and that's the big story, huh? You see how many midfielders in the list? Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, Cope Manners, Fratesi, Verratti, even last minute update, Brahim Diaz from Milan or Real Madrid, I don't know yet. Well, let's go step by step. Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, always in Juve's desire list, wish list. Why now? That's the question I'm asking myself. I know that the starting price will be 40 million euro. Juventus, apparently, according to Il Messaggero that is close to Roma, is saying that Juventus potentially already started contact with 25 million euro. Too low for Lotito, but I'm asking myself, why? He will play Champions League with Lazio. Why now going to Juve? Big question. Then it's not over. It could be, maybe he really wants to come in the city where his brother is living. Maybe he was a Juve fan when he was in Serbia watching Serie A. I don't know. But I would ask myself, why? Why now? Cope Manners, if Giuntoli arrives, apparently he's one of the top players that he wants, or at least top, means top on the list of Giuntoli. And Cope Manners' turn, I really like, and I tell you, that voice is something that you can believe in. But seriously, Cope Manners, if Giuntoli arrives, could be. And he can also upgrade a midfield that we lose. I told you, Rabiot, McKennie, Zakaria, Paredes, maybe Miretti and Barrenechea on loan, so you will have to work for it. And it's not a casualty that the most names are in the midfield, because you will lose a lot and you will have to rework it. Who will stay? Pogba. What condition? We need to discover it. Locatelli will stay, Fagioli will stay. These players remain. The other ones, maybe they will rotate with a Cope Manners maybe. Fratesi, always on the wish list of the ex-management, is a bit further away. Also because Milan is really now forcing to have Fratesi. Fratesi desired by all the Italian clubs. Would I go for Fratesi? I like Fratesi. But I'm not 100% convinced that I would say go for him and only him. Then Verratti, beautiful name, a real Juventino. He's saying when he's up in Paris, in his city, he's saying he's watching all the games of Juve because he remains a real Juventino. But Verratti is, if I'm not wrong, already 30, which is not that old, but huge salary, incredible huge salary. Still has a contract with Paris Saint-Germain, and he's injury prone. We have already enough injury-prone players. Verratti, how much I like him, I would not see him at Juventus. I don't believe this is real news. Like the one of Donnarumma, I really don't believe it. And then last fresh news, Brahim Diaz, that we are not sure yet if Milan will be able to take him from Real Madrid. Well, if he goes back to Real Madrid, apparently Juventus would be interested. For a value of more or less 40 million euro, I really like Brahim Diaz. But since ever, when I watch the kid playing, I'm really always impressed by him. But there is a big problem, a big one. The problem is that he has no continuity. You never know which Brahim Diaz will show up, which one will be there at the starting of the game. So Brahim Diaz, that's not the one that gives you certainties, especially for 40 million euro. We go with other names, offensive lineup. Today I heard Asensio again. Asensio always reminds me about that 4-1 loss against Real Madrid in Cardiff. It's true that he will leave for free. It's still a player that has something to give. He will not renew with Real Madrid. Well, Asensio, if you have a Di Maria that is leaving, an Asensio would be a beautiful name in terms of prestige, elite, saying offensively we want to do something, especially because we don't know if Soule will continue to be a player of Juve 23-24 or he will go on loan. We know that there are questions about Chiesa that I believe that really will stay, but let's see. Di Maria will leave. There will be a big change there up front. Cuadrado will play, yes, but he's a bench player. He will not play probably in a 4-man defense, but offensively as a bench player. So Asensio would make sense. €0 for the value of the player, but then you still have to pay his salary. Of course, you're reading that news, a few hours later, you are seeing Paris Saint-Germain really interested in Asensio. And like I told you about Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, about Asensio, I'm asking myself, why? Why should he without European competition? Then, there was another name that made me really laugh. It was the name of Alexis Sanchez. Alexis Sanchez is a player that played at Udinese, Barcelona, Arsenal, I believe also Manchester United, if I'm not wrong. Inter now is playing at Olympique Marseille, where he's doing a really fantastic, beautiful season with Tudor. They're playing about the duo, Tudor plus Alexis Sanchez. Ragazzi, at a certain moment, basta, basta. 10 years too late. What are we speaking about? No, if you're speaking about new players, then let's go for really new, young players. I like the name of Carlos Augusto, of Barco. I will tell you even more. Cambiaso that will join. Without cups, go with Cambiaso, promote Huijsen. You need these players like maybe a Koop Meiners, maybe even a Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, maybe other players offensively like an Asensio that is... But guys, not Alexis Sanchez. Basta, ragazzi. It's not even... Anyway, this was it for the news, for the names, for all the names. There are a lot of players that will go out also, but I believe that the video is long enough now and we can do it in another time. Let me know what you thought about the names, which one are triggering you, which one are making you the most excited. I'm curious which one you want a bit more details about, because we really didn't speak too much about details about the players. Let me know, and then we do another video about a crazy Mercato, because we know it, Mercato is crazy. Grazie, forza, Juve.
Mercato is crazy. La 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 la. Mercato is crazy. La 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 la. Mercato is crazy tonight.